video documentary, which was Veganism for a Week. Within the documentary, I plan on explaining my own experience with veganism through video diary and images, as well as the survey questions and the interviews. So without ado, let's get started on the video documentary. Sorry, I'm awkward. Day one of the video documentary, and I'm being kind of lazy, so I'm just gonna have a banana and some vegan protein. So yeah. Okay, so concluding day one, and it went really well. Lunch I had potato and salsa, and then I just had smoothie bowl for dinner. Okay, so it's already day two, and I quit, kind of. Today was so bad at work that, like, I needed this Pizookie. So yeah. Okay, so day three, starting out breakfast, smoothie with orange juice, soda melt to make it vegan. So yeah, woo, have to go to work. Okay, it's morning 5. I had another fruit smoothie for breakfast, and then I had some rice with salsa. Kind of happy for it to almost be over, so. A snack because I'm not very hungry right now, just an apple. I took a nap, so I feel better. Okay, so we are at the interview portion of the documentary, and this is my professional that I have chosen to interview, and this is like my average Joe. Both are my coworkers. This one just happens to live with me. And I thought it would be more convenient to interview both of them together, so I'm just going to ask them general questions and then their opinions and all that whatnot. So I guess like my first one would be for the both of them, and we can start with Mackenzie first, because ladies first. Okay. Are you a vegan or not? And then kind of like what made you a vegan or not?
First question, are you vegan or not?
Yes, so I am a vegan, and I've been a vegan for a while. It's been the past couple of years, and it's been an on and off again kind of thing. What originally inspired me to be a vegan was I watched some documentaries on Netflix, and it made me really sad to see what many of the animals have to go through, and seeing how they're treated made me not want to be a part and contribute to that. So I thought it best to just go, what do you call that? Cold turkey?
My mama raised a meat eater, so that's why I'm not a vegan.
That's me personally. I can't speak for this barb.
I just love meat and how it tastes, all the kind of meats.
So do you believe that there are health benefits one way or the other, since you being not a vegan, you being a vegan? What are your own experiences with that?
So my own experiences are by cutting out the meat, I feel as though in some ways I've become healthier by maybe not having the meat from my diet. It is somewhat affecting my health a little bit. It might be a little bit negative, but I feel that by cutting out meat, my body, it takes less time to break things down, along with I feel more energized by not having any as much.
Okay, so on to the second question. Do you believe that there are any health benefits on one end of the spectrum or on the other end of the spectrum versus like being completely like a carnivore or like omnivore or vegetarian, like herbivore, and kind of what were your own experiences with that?
So back in the day, you used to eat 3 or 4 hamburgers a day, and I weighed about 200 pounds. Now I'm about 130 pounds, lost 70 pounds, I eat about a chicken a day, and I feel a lot better. So I feel like there are some perks about eating chicken rather than eating 3 or 4 hamburgers a day, like most Americans do. So there can be perks here and there, but I feel like I'm pretty set. So.
Well, I personally feel that with either of those, whether it's beef or chicken, the problem is both of them are being pumped with different chemicals to make them larger or to make them last longer or whatever. And I feel like by cutting that out completely and getting my proteins from somewhere else, from other fruits or vegetables, that it's actually helped me by not letting me consume harmful chemicals that might affect my health. That's how I feel about that.
Okay, so on to the third question. I know you're a vegan and you kind of bounce back and forth between that, but for you, Kip, have you ever considered being a vegan?
No. Well, I mean, I'll eat vegetables here
He's
and
like,
there,
"Nah."
but I mean, no. Really, just to be honest, no.
Even though there's been studies and like you can have like really good health.
Well, see, if I need to hunt the chicken myself, I'll go hunt the chicken myself. Now, cow, on the other hand, may be a little more difficult, but I'll find a way to do it.
Okay, on to the next question.
What have you been a meat eater for? I only eat meat. I'm going to the Meat Stock Flesh Festival. Are you going? Yeah, I want the tofu spring rolls,
Okay.
except I don't eat tofu, so do you have like a tofu flavored chicken you can substitute in for me? It's not that vegetable eaters are bad people, it's just that they're terrible people. This sauce.
So, do you think that the agriculture and business is unusually cruel in one way or another? And if so, do you believe, again, like going back to the fact of like veganism, because of that, should more people go vegan, or is it okay just to eat all of that animal flesh, even though it's mean?
Well, I feel like there's a lot of regulations, but still, even then, they're very, very cruel. They probably can be, but I still like meat either way, so.
I think that if there are options out there besides, if there are substitutes for actual meat, then you should actually use those, because while there are a lot of regulations and there are places that try to keep things as humane as possible, there's also a lot of places that don't do that, that treat their animals very poorly, and the animals have to grow up in terrible conditions that are filthy and just awful to the animal's health, and they end up just living their life miserably before they die for us to eat. And it just seems that if there is substitutes for that, then you should use that, because to me, it's just sad that they have to go through what they go through for us to eat, but we don't necessarily have to eat that. Like, we can eat other things without that. So I understand the preference, but there's other things that you can eat instead of that.
And I guess looking at it now, I'll probably go ahead and go with the more humane eating of the animals rather than the more inhumane. And I guess that just depends on research.
And even if it was humane, what about the environmental factors that it kind of has on our planet? The fact that just for like 1 pound of meat, you're using so much water, and the fact that like they're producing like CO2 and like methane and all that whatnot. Like, what's your response for that, I guess? Because I mean, like, I understand, like, yeah, you can go the more humane route, but even then they're still going to be like polluting and taking up a whole bunch of water. And
Well, I think that's a small portion, that's a small contribution to the pollution when you compare it to cars and everything like that. So I feel like that's just a small little thing that we can manage. We can be using those assets to focus on something else rather than small things like that.
I think that it's actually a bigger deal than what people seem to think. Not pointing any fingers over here, but just saying. Actually, like I said, I think it just goes back to an idea that
How many chicken nuggets do we go through a day? Good night.
okay, so on to the survey results. Of the 25 people that I interviewed, there was 1 vegan, and most people, even though they weren't vegan, believed that there are health benefits, but they just thought it was really hard and they weren't willing to go vegan. There have been people that have considered it and they have tried it. That was about 4 of the other 24 people, but they just didn't stick with it, and they were kind of like on again, off again. They believed that the average American diet was way less healthy than a vegan diet, just because like processed food versus like an abundance of vegetables and all that whatnot. And then they believed that more people should go vegan, which I thought was interesting because they weren't really willing to go vegan, but they're like, oh yeah, like more people should do it. It's better for the environment. It's better for the animals. And then they believe that the animal agriculture business is cruel and that it does cause a lot of pollution, but they're not willing to do anything about it. So those are my results.